Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is another episode of Man Cave Monday. And I got my guys here with me. I've got Nestor with me. I've got Dre with me. I've got Dex with me. I've got Days with me. Unfortunately, Tez was not able to make this episode. Hopefully, he'll be here next month for December's episode. And so, and I guess y'all know me by now. I'm JD, aka He Who Pods. And so, fellas, let's just say what's up. How everybody's feeling today?
Good.
Great.
Good.
Right. Yeah. Everybody's feeling good. That's what I like. Yeah. All right, good energy all around the room. Speaking of energy, let's get right into it. This is actually Dre's topic, so let's throw it right to Dre. Go ahead, Dre. Talk to him.
I don't know if it's necessarily my topic.
Well, you put it on the doc, so that's what I mean by your topic. You know what I mean?
It's a topic, and I just wanted to know how y'all feel about it. I just want to know how y'all feel about it. So there is a movement right now that is saying, hey, should men, is it healthy or good to not masturbate? I think it's no flap or something like that. Is that it, Nestor? Am I getting things wrong?
No fap.
There you go. See, I don't know what you call those acronyms. I don't know what you guys
those acronyms. But yeah, or a no nut.
Right. I know about that. I know No Nut November.
Oh, yeah. I know about that.
Yeah.
No Nut November.
And so I just wanted to know, what's y'all opinion on the issue? Are y'all participating in No Nut November? Or do you feel like it's a beneficial thing or not a beneficial thing? I don't know.
So did they start already?
You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah.
Oh my God! It's a No Nut November.
Yeah.
Wow, this is interesting.
All right, I'll start. I'm not scared.
Go in.
I am not participating in No Nut November. First of all, let's just be clear. That's number one. And I don't believe, rather, let me say this properly. I believe men should masturbate. I believe everyone should masturbate. I believe masturbation is a form of self-exploration. I believe getting to know yourself helps you and your partner or partners later on. And as the shirt says, shout out to Days over there. This is one of his tees. I believe masturbation is part of self-care.
Right.
That's my take on it.
I agree with all of those talking points.
What is No Nut
However,
November? What does that mean?
So the idea is right. It's supposed to be in solidarity for testicular and prostate cancer, things like that.
Okay,
right?
that's the
basically. So the idea is to not ejaculate anytime during the month of November.
And this is
so
in
you can
support of
participate.
testicular
You
cancer.
can participate. Right. So you can participate, you just can't ejaculate. Bars. Right.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh.
You get your edging practice in or whatever,
Okay.
All right.
Two different things.
Okay.
It's gonna be challenging for some brothers.
But so do anybody feel that it's like a beneficial thing, to not be masturbating? I don't,
No. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of masturbating. I feel like why run to that if there are other options available to speak a little PC.
But see, then that poses another thing. Because some people think that people tend to masturbate because they don't have sexual partners. However, there's people who masturbate even though they have sexual partners.
You are 1,000% correct. That's why I said me personally, this is my belief. I believe it's healthy. I believe it's self-care. Yeah. Personally, it's not something I run to doing because I believe there are better options out there for me personally. So no, I don't think there's any benefit of withholding. I don't do semen retention or any of that stuff. I know that's a movement as well.
That's how I was
Yeah,
gonna
no,
go
it's
to.
part of
Yeah,
semen
that's what I was gonna
retention.
go to.
And yeah, we spoke about on Food, Fitness, and Fun how boxers do it, and you know some of the myths behind sex and fitness. We spoke about that a while back, to be honest, maybe like a year ago, me and Dre on Food, Fitness, and Fun. But no, I don't think there's any benefit of not masturbating. I think getting to know yourself is important, and I think it's a form of self-care, both for men and women. And sometimes, you know, you need a quick release for various reasons. And so, no, I don't think that there is a reason to withhold from yourself. Do you literally? My stance is easy. I'm clear on that.
Hey man, sometimes you
I agree
can't.
with
I
all of
definitely agree with
Yeah.
that. There's
I
not
Hold
agree
on.
really-
It's three of us
Yeah,
at once. Let's take turns. Dex, Ness, Days.
I totally agree with you. Sorry, I totally agree with you. Everything you said. Hey, sometimes you can't sleep at night. Knock you out.
You know what I
what I'm
mean?
saying?
Easy breezy lemon squeezy.
Get some energy out. Bam.
Oh wow, that's
You
interesting.
know?
That's it.
Dreamland.
That's interesting.
Facts.
Is there
No, it's
any
just
time? Let me
interesting
ask one
hearing
question
people's
though before you
perspective.
go, Ness. Is there any time you think masturbation is excessive at all? Anybody thinks that any?
Yes, anything
It's what?
can be excessive. We can be addicted to
Okay.
anything, person,
I
substance.
wanted to make sure we put that out there. There's moderation in masturbation.
Everything, moderation, master.
of course, every
Man,
Bars. I'm trying to bar it up on y'all.
Bars. Bars.
Bar it up on y'all.
Moderation, masturbation.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even know
You know what I'm
Dex was a
saying?
lyricist.
Yeah.
bars,
You.
Had no
bars
idea he was
heavy
a
this
lyricist.
pod. You know what I'm saying? We only a couple minutes in.
No, well, I agree. I think you should do all things in moderation. You know, there's that myth. I remember growing up, there was always that myth that they say brothers would jerk off before they get with the shorty, so she could get the second nut and not the
Yep.
first nut. You
They
feel
used
what
to
I'm
say,
saying? I
make
remember
her
my
work
uncle.
harder.
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm not gonna front, man. Wow,
That's what they
damn.
used to say.
Make her work harder.
That's what they used to
Yeah.
say. Let's be clear. They used to say.
Hey,
Yeah, and there's a lot of different ways because for some people it was to give the impression that your stamina is
Right.
up there. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because you know some women be paying attention too. They're like, God damn, this is the first one, and this nigga's 3
Right.
hours in. You feel what I'm saying? You looking like a motherfucking dawn over there. You like, yeah, she don't
Right.
even know. You feel what I'm saying? No, listen, this is just things that I've heard in passing. You know, dudes, my uncles, cousins, different things like that. But I'm with Jay, man. I never really felt the need to. I'm like, yo, I got, you know, it's women out here. And now if a brother was incarcerated, I'm like, oh, it's over. You know what I mean? I'm incarcerated. You know, Pamela is on
That's
the
it.
way. Pamela is on the way. You dig? And even then, I ain't gonna front, man. I could be no for real. I could be stubborn, bro. I could be too self-righteous. I'm like, man, I'm abstinent. Like I'm reframing until I could get there. Because it's a discipline thing for me. You know what I mean? If I could, I refuse to allow myself to be controlled by something. So if I could just go cold turkey like that, like I'm talking about just like that, then I know like I have strong will. You know what I mean? So that's just my
Right. Go
philosophy.
ahead, Ness.
No, yeah, I agree with what Jay was saying. It's just like there's no real benefit or harm to either direction, right? To doing it or not doing it. I know there's a lot of like belief that it's unhealthy to not ejaculate over a certain period of time, and there's a lot of belief that like, oh, you doing it not excessive, but doing it
Too often.
not too often, but within a period of time, just like having a schedule or whatever, just doing it regularly is the word I was looking for. Thank you. But yeah, doing it regularly can lead to like better health down the road. But like that's all like myths and stuff. There's no like actual evidence to like point in either direction.
Got you.
Well,
Oh, go ahead, Days.
go ahead. No, because there's a lot of things that could surround this conversation, and thinking that is making me think about when we talked about the social media aspect. We were so focused on one aspect that Dex had brought up an aspect that kind of like blew up a whole bunch of other different talking points. So I wanna get to the talking point about oh my god, I don't want to lose my train of thought, but how it could affect people mentally, because I be hearing different things about that too. You know, as far as like people becoming desensitized or not being as involved and interested when they with somebody because they, you know, they may masturbate excessively. You understand what I'm saying? That when they're with somebody, it may be difficult for them to get involved and partake because they're so used to, you know, satisfying themselves. So I wanted to bring that conversation in it as well, not just the healthy, the unhealthy, or if you should, if you shouldn't, but let's bring upon that aspect as well, how it could affect people's mental health.
Yeah, it definitely can. Just the excessive part from what you were saying, like being excessive with it, it can go down that route. And then even in the regards to how you masturbate, because some people they use porn, some people don't, and then that's another aspect to it. If you're excessive with the porn use and consumption, then
Right.
you know that can definitely affect.
Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, I think. I'm sorry. You wanted to go in?
I was going to say something.
Yeah, I think that.
You can go first. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, we're talking porn. Yeah, we're in an era now where, you know, you go see a quick 5-minute clip and you know, that's that, you know, this new era where, so I think that if you're into masturbation and you're stuck on porn, and because that's what we're talking about now. I mean, the excessiveness would usually be you're getting these quick fixes. You're not even, you know, you're not even controlling yourself anymore. You're just getting off real quick and get off. And I think it's detrimental for when you're with someone. You know what I mean? And I was just also thinking, you know, I'm old school, so you know, we have to go through the beaded curtain of the video store. You know what I mean? We have to work for porn. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you're 11, 12 years old and you're fascinated, you're nervous, you have to bring the least dirty box cover up to the front, some girl in a bikini, because you can't bring anything too crazy. You know what I mean? Nowadays, these kids just going on whatever and just you see a 5-minute clip. You can go on Twitter. Twitter's like the last frontier for like free porn. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I had to throw that out there.
Twitter's ridiculous.
There you go.
No doubt.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What would you want?
No, it's all good. I was gonna go in on Daisy. Absolutely right. There is a huge mental aspect of this, right? Because when you masturbate and you finally come, there's a dopamine rush, and then as human beings, we get addicted to dopamine, like whatever activity you're doing. So, in terms of it being, you know, excessive, these are like relative terms, but you have to look at your own sort of like how you spend in your day. You know what I'm saying? If you're the type of person that's like, as we're saying, you rather be with you because you know how to please you and you don't want to put the work in to get with somebody else, or you're just fine, you know, by yourself because, hey, you know, that's where you're getting your dopamine. It's like, why am I going to spend time, possibly money and everything else to get with someone when all I want is this quick dopamine rush, and you go handle yourself, you know? So I think that that's something you have to look into. I know for me personally, I go through dry spells. And what I mean by dry spells, I'll be like, you know what? I'm not going to do that just because I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Not that I don't have a shorty or anything like that. It's like, I'm getting off of that for a minute because, like anything else, when you realize I'm getting kind of addicted to this, let me just chill. You know what I'm saying? So I got to be real with myself and be like, okay, I'm kind of going in on this like way too much. Like this is my 4th time today, you know, on Blase Blah site or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? So I gotta be like, nah. And then I'll just like stop. I won't even like for months, you know what I mean? because I know for me, it's like that's making me feel better, or I feel like I'm not as productive when the only thing I'm thinking about is, getting this dopamine rush in this particular way. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if we understand who we are as individuals and realize and be honest with ourselves and say, hey, how productive are you being throughout your day? If it's like, the way Dex is putting it, man, I really can't go to sleep. You know what's going to knock me out? Me. Hold on. Let me get this. And then, get your lotion or whatever you went to,
Crazy.
and rock out.
Rock out with your cock out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Bars.
But yeah, but if you're spending like, almost every day in mad hours, or you can't even go to sleep because that's all you're doing, after you finish, big tit site, then you go on the big butt site, and then you want to see, well, what are midgets into? You know what I mean? There's you all day with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, this is becoming a huge distraction in your life. And I think you just got to be real. But yeah, I don't know if it's, positive, negative, whatever. I just feel like everyone has to look at their own lifestyle and realize, okay, how productive are you, or how excessive is excessive?
All right. Can I pose 2 questions?
Go for it.
All right. So first, what if masturbating is part of how you make a living? Crazy. Hear me out though. There are men and women online, as Dex said, Twitter, Pornhub, OnlyFans. Y'all know the sites. They didn't pay us. But what if I'm making my living masturbating online? Is that too crazy? Should I not do it because it's excessive, quote unquote? If it's 4 times a day,
right, so
but it's paying the bills.
Can I attack this?
That's my first question. Well, let's go there, and then I'll come back to the second one. Go ahead.
Well, I want to attack the air quotes real quick, because I did bring up the word excessive, but it's deeper than that. But go ahead, you pose.
No, that's question. The first one. Go ahead, and then I'll come back for the second one.
Yeah. No, because when I go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, okay, so if somebody is being paid to masturbate in front of a camera or whatever, honestly, like any other job, you probably like that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's excessive or not, because we know that's a relative term. But if you're like, yo, I'm going to get in front of this camera and I'm going to masturbate for people, then you're probably the type of person who loves doing it. Like, whether there was a camera there or not, you're going to just do that. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I just think that the people who do that, they love doing it. They'll clean up and be ready in another 10 minutes to do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then we know, like, honestly, with women, women can just keep coming and coming and coming all day. You know what I'm saying? Men, we at least will run out of sperm eventually. You know what I'm saying? So
we need that refractory period to put us in place.
Right. You know what I mean? So I guess it depends on whether you're a man or woman. But if you're a dude and you're being paid to jerk off, you're that kind of guy. You like to jerk off a lot. So that's the way I see it. All right.
What's the second question?
Everybody else didn't chime in. Yeah, let's let everybody else chime in before I get the second one up.
So the other part to that is too, it's not like it's something that they're doing all day, every day, or whatever. They have like their catalog stacked up for a certain amount of time, and they'll like have
content
set amount of time for videos and their pictures and everything all stacked up for whenever they're going to release it. They don't really like have everything where they're doing this every day, and just because they're releasing every day doesn't mean they're releasing.
Wordplay. Bars. Wordplay up in here.
Yeah, so and
like battle rap, really sing.
Right.
We really sing how we really sing. Bars.
Nigga said, slow it down. I just dissed you.
We really sing how we really sing. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, I
But
love it. I'm sorry, Ness.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ness.
sorry,
No,
man.
it's cool.
Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, and just like Gray said, I mean, it's likely it's something they like doing.
Yeah.
If they chose that to be their source of income, then there you go.
So Ness, you telling me they got like a calendar like masturbation
Yes.
Monday, touch
Content
myself
day.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
wipe myself
Yeah,
down
content
Wednesday.
day.
You feel what I'm saying?
And
Like,
they'll take like one day and they'll record
And they shoot all their
whatever
stuff,
videos
all their
they're gonna
material,
record
right?
that day,
Yeah.
Okay.
and they'll shoot everything, and then they'll like just release it whenever they're gonna
Absolutely. They
release
call
it.
a
I
lot
mean,
of them call it
I
content
mean,
day.
that's what porn
And then
stars do, right?
the same clip, the same video, they can like chop up into a bunch of different clips that get released
Just
on
like we do
different
with the
days,
pod.
right?
It's like porn
But
stars
what
do that too.
about-
They have like a block of sex and then they chill, right? I think they do the
Yeah.
same thing.
They chill for a bit, yeah.
But what?
Yeah, they do.
But
They'll,
what ab-
they'll
I'm-
record a bunch of videos over the course of like a day or two, and then
Yeah.
that's like the year's work done.
But what
I don't know
about the
about
live cams? You
What
know, the
about the
cats do
live cams? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? They got live cam cats who are just like, yo, you put the money in
I
the,
mean,
in
there's
the, in
two-
the,
there's two
in the
parts to
machine
that, right?
and
There-
go through.
They're either not working every single day, and they're not working the whole
Gotcha.
day. And then on top of that, a large portion of that time that they're in front of the camera, they're not doing anything, just talking to people.
That's true.
they got to be drained too.
Yeah.
They got to be literally drained.
More
Yeah,
power to
literally.
them, man. More power to them.
No,
All
they
right, so
have a
Dex and
lot.
Days, go ahead, chime in. What y'all think? Is it still considered excessive if it's paying the bills?
It's their job.
Well, too much of anything ain't good for you, man.
I'm
You
just
feel what I'm
wondering.
saying?
I mean, I
Like,
don't know.
so-
It's an individual basis. I'm sorry, but you wonder as long does this affect them in relationship, or maybe they, like we said earlier via Dre. Maybe they just like being alone and jerking off. They take care of themselves, But the curiosity I have would be, well, I wonder how they are in a relationship. If that's their gig, but it's just a gig, I guess.
Sexually, how could they maintain that focus when this is a priority? Because right, if they're getting paid for it and they're doing it every day, it's a priority, right?
Yeah, but if I'm getting paid to
right.
jerk off, if jerking off, let's say me, for example, if jerking off is paying the bills, I'm making 6 figures on OnlyFans, live cams, some combo of both, whatever. That's not the same thing as when I lay down with a woman or a man or whatever it is you're into. It's a totally different ball game.
That sounds
I know,
like
but
the
when
trailer
I
clip
brought
of
up
this
the word-
podcast. If I'm jerking off, right?
Well,
That's the trailer. That's the clip.
And I'm
of the
thinking,
trailer.
if I'm jerking off and I'm making 6 figures, man can't Monday.
Everybody like me watching this episode. All right, but yeah, go ahead.
niggas like he jerking off and making 6 figures.
Count me in.
Hey, yo, what? Everybody's like putting appointments in their calendar to come out.
Yeah, you remember state property? Which hand you roll up with? Which hand? I'm ambidextrous.
Days.
I'm
Which hand?
ambidextrous, nigga.
Oh,
I'm
man.
ambidextrous. What is he talking about?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
No, but because I pose the word excessive.
You're right.
When I say
It's a
excessive,
gig. If it's a
I'm a
gig,
firm believer that
I mean,
if you
I would
train the
assume they
mind,
have
the body
a
shall
certain
follow.
level of control
So,
when they're in a
a
real
part of
relationship.
this
Hopefully,
is, and I don't want to go off course because you said you had a second question, and this is the first question. You're talking about people doing it for money, but
Yeah.
I posed excessiveness, but I want to clarify that by saying you are training yourself subconsciously, whether if you are aware of it
Right.
or not. You are train the mind, and the body shall
Yeah.
follow. So now, how are you able to adjust yourself mentally when you are with a partner? Because this is something that you have got your body and yourself accustomed to. Because these conversations do circulate about how people are affected because they do this, quote unquote, excessively, which is like training your mind, and your body is now accustomed to it. That's what I mean when I say desensitize, not the
Right.
excessive. You training your mind and your body following. That's why it's good to do things in moderation.
No, I don't
Because-
disagree with that. I'm just asking, would that still be considered excessive? If somebody, man, woman, non-binary, if they are doing this on a regular basis, but they're doing it and it's paying the bills, this is their quote unquote job. is it still considered? Do you still consider it excessive? So everybody answer. It's on,
I think
it's on you.
if it's affecting you, like in if it's affecting your being, I would say yes, it's excessive, because that's what I mean when I say it. Like, yes, that's excessive. Like, yeah, you making money and all of that, but there's no way that it's not affecting you physically, maybe even mentally. Like I said, now you got to be with people, but like Dre said, motherfucker doing this shit 4 or 5 times a day. You understand what I'm saying? Like, your body is used to the feel of your hand or the motion, or now you got to kind of, incorporate that with someone. You feel you got yourself used to feeling how your hand feel, not someone else's hand. You got yourself used to getting yourself aroused just off of a mental thought or a picture or a video. Now you got somebody in front of you. You know what I mean? So that's when I say about it being excessive. If it's affecting you in that way, mentally, physically, and you can't perform well in a certain way, then yes, I would say it's excessive.
Okay, cool. So my second question is, but what about in moments when you had a partner, anybody, man, woman, non-binary, if you have a partner, y'all did y'all thing, but maybe they didn't hit that sweet spot. Is it wrong now to go take care of yourself?
Oh no, yeah, I'll go. Oh,
Go ahead.
definitely not.
Doors open. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely not, man. Definitely not. It's like, okay, you know what? You did work, I did work, but maybe you didn't get you didn't get to come or whatever. It's like, yo, okay, let me take care of this one time, because it could be frustrating. You know what I mean? I remember I used to date this girl a while ago where it's like we would have sex would be over, but then part of the kink that we was into was just watching each other masturbate.
You know what I'm saying?
It was just
we lost Dex.
Yeah, Dex is gone. Oh,
Dex
might
is
be
back. All right, welcome back. Can you hear us,
Yeah,
Dex?
but-
You good?
Yeah, you good?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Drake.
So Jay posed the question that he was saying that, well, what about when, you done had a sexual session, but in order for you to come, you might have to, do yourself, or whoever you with, your lady, man, whoever, might have to do them too, just to finish it off, because it didn't happen.
They didn't hit that spot.
Right. And
That
I'm
was
saying,
the
like,
exact word.
like,
They didn't hit that
yeah,
spot.
like I'm saying, like, I know
I
I've
agree.
been there where it's like, this chick done came 3-4 times, whatever, and I'm still frustrated, because it's like, I'm glad you're having fun, but you know what? Let me just take care of me one time so I can go to sleep, because this is now this is more of a chore now. You know what I'm saying? But I was also getting into yeah, go ahead. I was also getting to a chick that I dated where it's like we would have sex and we would watch each other masturbate. You know what I'm saying? And it was like this like thing that we was into, and I was just like, yo, kind of digging that shit. It was like my little kink thing. So it's like it's definitely something you could do with a partner. You know what I mean? It's definitely something that you could just be like, all right, you know what? We had this session. Let's go on to phase 2 or 3 or whatever of the session. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Dex.
And I was going to ask, when that happened, though, you're talking like, is this a second round or that's in the first round? Like
Either way, I'm just saying, sometimes, listen, you might have a specific craving, or maybe things just had to end for whatever reason. The kids woke up earlier than expected. It was time to go. Who knows what the fuck? Y'all was in the break room and got caught. You didn't get to finish. Whatever, Sometimes you just didn't. I'm wilding. I know. My point is, sometimes, hey, the break room. You know
Maybe while you was making
You know what I'm
coffee
saying?
in the break room.
I had to stir it.
I got the
Had to
cream.
stir it up.
Don't put no cream in my coffee.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck that. Y'all niggas is using the break room in the wrong way.
Chill.
Nah, what you mean? I had to break it up.
I had to stir it up. Nah, niggas had to stir it up.
You go in the break room, all kinds of weird scents and aromas.
What the hell? Why the break room smell like?
You think it's the fridge? You think something in the fridge? Why it smell like that?
Right. Somebody yogurt. Somebody left their yogurt out. You're like, no, that ain't yogurt. Man. It ain't yogurt.
Like, yeah.
What?
Yo, son.
Yeah, you fucked up the break
I'm in
room.
tears over here.
You fucked up the break room,
right
man.
Literally fucked up the break
Yeah,
room.
you be telling boy, I'm going to break room no more. They be fucking in there, man. I can't be going up in there no more.
Word.
Yeah, they be fucking in there.
You know
man.
what?
They always
I
fucking
won't
in
even
there.
take. I won't take a break. I won't take
No
no break.
more
I'm
breaks.
good. I'm
I take
good.
a
More
break, man.
breaks.
Nah, I'm good. I just keep working. It's all right.
You know what? I like my food room temperature. I just keep it by my desk now. Fuck
Yeah, exactly. I'm good. Man, I'll never have to take a break.
it. Nah, I
yeah,
don't even
time
want
to
to
go
go
home.
in that room no more. My point
Yeah.
was,
I gotta,
silliness
I
aside.
gotta chill, son.
Right.
gotta
Oh
chill.
shit! Nah, this is about to
I
be.
gotta
Yo, this
chill,
might be the
man.
best one yet. Son. This pod is crazy.
Yeah.
My
Oh
point
my God.
was sometimes
Yes, we do.
they don't. You or they may just not get to hit that sweet spot. Like you feel unfulfilled, unsatiated, like you're just not quite finished. So my
Yeah,
question is so in that moment, is it wrong for you to take care
Yeah.
of yourself?
And,
No,
and then you know
it's
what?
not
It's
wrong.
like some. Yeah.
Go ahead,
And
go
then
ahead,
sometimes
go
you know what? It takes a minute for people, couples, whatever, to become sexually compatible. You know what I'm saying? It sometimes it's instant and it just happens, and that's great. That's lovely. That's always beautiful when it's just like you meet somebody and y'all sexually compatible right away. But the reality is, it might take a while before you learn that person learns you. It's like, yo, I don't like to be stroked that way. You gotta stroke it this way. You gotta put this in. Everyone has that little combo to be like, oh, okay.
Right.
I may not know your combo right away.
Right. Up,
So
down, left, right, start.
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, X, Y, Z, Y, X. Okay, I didn't know
Right.
that. So
These
Yeah.
buttons up here
Yeah.
work? I didn't even know they had buttons on the controller.
I don't know your whole combo. Now, before I get to learn the combo, you might have to take care of yourself, or you don't know my combo. I might have to take care of me. And as we're getting to learn each other, it's like, oh, okay, time goes on. Listen, I know your whole combo. I know your style,
Right.
and I got you. So it might just take some time before that happens.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
totally agree
is
with that.
big thing.
Totally
That's-
agree.
Yeah, big thing with that. Just don't be scared to talk
Talk to
each
him.
other.
That's say that
Absolutely.
shit again.
Absolutely.
That's
Talk that.
Like-
Talk that.
People be too scared to talk about sex, period, with each other. Like you're having sex. Like what's there to be scared to talk about? Like just tell them what you like, find out what they like, have those conversations. Like it's
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
ridiculous.
But both you guys, I totally agree with both you guys. And it's fun trying to figure out the combination, you know what I mean? You put on your little stethoscope and you put it up to her nipple, and you be like trying to safe crack it into her stomach. All right. Sorry.
Sorry,
Like
that's
that.
good. Listen. You know what I'm saying?
You like that?
Well,
Yeah.
real quick, I just want to explain why I asked. So it was
Uh-huh.
really for the lady viewers. A lot of
Okay.
times ladies speak of experiences where, men just need friction, but it's a little more challenging for women. And so a lot of times women speak about how they have not been able to finish and they kind of get shamed. We're like, damn, we was fucking all night. You still got to do that? And that's kind of why I brought it up, because I feel like, in my opinion, it's not wrong to do it. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a generous partner, you might even help them finish. But
I was
son,
waiting
you
for
know
that
that's-
part.
come on now, with a real
Hands
man.
on.
You know what I'm saying?
Hands on.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm
Hands
wiped
on.
out. Woo, that was crazy.
Octopus
Oh, you
style.
ain't finished? Okay, hold on.
The
Let me-
octopus
hold on,
style.
let me-
Yeah,
what you mean?
Yeah.
Let me help you
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
But
look,
unfortunately,
dare I say, real men are
Very
generous
handy.
partners. Dare I say that?
Talk
All right,
about it.
simple as that.
Yes, talk about it.
You know.
I agree.
But
that's why I asked, because I know that-
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Dex. I'm sorry. No, go.
No, just say explore that body, man. Learn. Bernie Mac, you gotta learn. She gotta learn. You gotta learn. You know what I mean? You gotta learn. Go
That's
down
it.
there, work it out, help.
No,
Figure
that's
it
why.
out. You know what I mean?
That's why I was thinking to myself. I'm saying like, okay, they might have not hit that spot, but you could you could participate and help me finish the job. Shit, you could even finish the job yourself. A hand job ain't never hurt
That's it.
nobody.
No.
Some nice soft hands
You know
ain't
what I'm
never
saying?
hurt nobody at all. You feel
There
what
it
I'm
is.
saying?
So we can move on.
Handyman.
Unless anybody got any
Hand-
last thoughts.
Handyman.
Handyman.
Hands
Hands
on. You
on.
feel what I'm saying?
All hands on deck. All right, all hands on deck. Let's head to our next topic. Our next
All right,
topic
here we
falls in
go.
line. Like Dave said, this is a perfect segue. So a while ago,
Here we
we
go.
asked the question, how important is sex in a relationship? And we had that conversation in depth. And so now let's up the ante. Today's question is, how important is nasty sex in a relationship? I leave it open to
And
y'all.
the first thing we have to go.
I don't think my answer.
Oh
The
shit!
first
Hold
question
on, everybody
I
at the
go.
same time.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just
the
going to say
first thing we gotta
something
know?
very simple. I was going to say, I didn't know you could have sex without it being nasty.
Some
First
some
of all,
people,
That's
some
interesting.
people are not.
That's interesting.
I'm being an
I'm about to
asshole.
say, right? That's what I'm
That's
saying.
interesting.
So I purposely
I'm
left
being
it
an
open
asshole.
ended because what is nasty sex?
That's what we're going.
What's nasty?
That's where we're going.
Right,
Yeah,
you see,
that's
so
a great
so
great
that's where
question,
that's
too.
why I left it open ended, because some people will say, well, you know, we do have sex often, but it's only missionary and doggy style, and that's not really doing
Come
it
on,
for
son.
me.
That's like Napoleon ice cream, son. Come on, cut this
Hey,
bullshit
listen,
out.
that's but some
Come on.
people like vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah.
Son, we gonna be excessive.
Yeah.
This thing, you about to call this excessive. I
No,
swear.
no,
Like
you wild,
niggas is
son.
eating vanilla ice cream every
Yeah.
day. That shit fucking up your
But
taste
my point,
buds.
I'm saying that because there's such a thing as called vanilla sex, right? Where people say bland
Yes,
sex,
I'm
right?
with
So a lot of times, especially people in long-term relationships, speak of a point when it gets to be bland, mundane, almost copy and paste. Even Kevin Hart has a sketch where he's like, hey, you know you've been fucking your partner for a long time when they know your moves. You start hitting certain moans, they're like, I know, you want me to bend over, right? Go ahead, smack my ass. Okay, you coming? You coming? All right, I know, we done. It becomes like this repetitive situation. So I'm not in a long-term relationship. I can't really chime in. I have thoughts, but the point is, people want to have different types of sex. Some people like nasty, quote unquote, sex. And what's nasty is different to other people. I remember years ago, someone told me, man, I had nasty sex on my birthday. It was downright filthy. And I was like, man, that's what's up. Well, what did you do? It was like, oh, we just got hammered drunk and had a lot of sex. And I was like, oh, but that's
Yeah.
nasty sex to you? They were like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that
Yeah.
was the nastiest shit ever. I'm like, oh, so I started inquiring, right? I'm like, oh, so did you do this? Did you do that? Did were toys in the bedroom? I mean, whips, chains, what we talking? It's like, no, I just told you. We had a bunch of alcohol. We got really drunk and we had sex all night. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's a relative term, like most things. You know what I mean? It's like what's nasty to somebody may just be regular and shit, you know, to the next person. So
Right.
you don't really know. And even what you're talking about in terms of it being, you know, repetitive or you know what's coming, it could be repetitive, you know what's coming, and it still be nasty. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, okay, I know you like this, you know I like that, but we keep it nasty. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a difference between it being fresh and it being nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be, hey, we do this all the time, but hey, I like it because it's nasty, or I don't like it because whatever. Or saying, hey, we need to do something a little bit different because this is getting stale, you know, and trying to keep things fresh. I think that's like kind of like two different things. But speaking for me personally, yeah, I feel like it is important for it to be nasty. Maybe not super duper important, but it's like, yo, like if it's boring, I'm not going to want to do it. You know, like I said on the pod last time we talked about this, it's like if it feels like just a mundane thing, I'm just washing the dishes, it's just whatever.
Right.
I'm like not into it, you know. So for me, in terms of it being like nasty, like yeah, like we gotta as a couple, we gotta see what that means and get on the same level with it, because yeah, like hey, I wanna like push some things, but everybody has their lines. You know what I'm saying? Like people be like, "Oh, Dre, I want to try this and this with you." I'm like, "Okay, I'm cool with this, but yeah, like I'm not cool with that." You know, so I'm the type of person where it's like, okay, I could be that dude that's putting you in bonds. That's what you like. I could do that, but I can't be put in bonds. I have like issues. You know what I'm saying? I can be, oh, can I handcuff you? Fuck no. You know what I mean? You must be out of your fucking mind. You know what I mean? Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? So I can't do that. But if you into that, I can get the little furry handcuffs and put them on you, and you like that shit. Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, okay, now it's my turn to do it to you. Shit, let's see what skills you got, motherfucker. You ain't just putting me in stuff. Fuck that shit. I got trust issues. I got problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, nah.
It took a turn
You know
real
what I'm
quick.
saying? My turn. No.
No.
Yo.
Go ahead, Dex.
Oh.
I agree. Are you with your partner? You have to define what is nasty, get to a common ground on what is nasty for you in the bedroom or wherever else you like to do it, and work with that. Keep things entertaining. Keep things from getting dry. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say too much, but yeah, you just don't want things to get dry or routine. You know what I
You
mean?
never want things to get dry.
You never want things to get
You know what I mean? Hey,
my God.
wordplay. Yeah, but yeah.
bars.
So
Okay.
yeah, I agree with that.
I think everybody's saying some very important things. I think what I'm gonna say is gonna go along the lines of what both of you guys are saying. Communication is key. I think people, both parties should communicate what their level, quote unquote, of nasty is. You might let's put a number on it. Your number might be 7. Their number might be 5. You understand what I'm saying? You might run into, if you're single with your options open, you might have multiple partners. So your next partner might be a 10. You feel what I'm saying? Next one might be a 9, or you yourself, you might be a 8. Who knows? You get what I'm saying? But you got to communicate, what that is, because you don't, spontaneity is cool, but sometimes you might catch somebody in a moment that shit could throw the whole
And
mood
sometimes
off.
planning is
You understand
important.
what I'm saying? Yes, absolutely. But some people don't. They be like, oh no, just do it to me in the moment. I'm like, yeah, but what if you have a
Right.
reaction? You feel what I'm saying? Like, and then that'll throw the whole
Yeah.
mood off. I understand you want to just be spontaneous in the moment. Like some people, they
Right.
like that fantasy
Right.
fairy tale rough sex situation where they being tossed around, and you might do something, but then they might have a
Right.
reaction that might shift the mood. Why? Because it wasn't communicated. Like you said, communicating in advance, I think, is extremely important, man. And I think, of course, it will help complement things a lot better.
Okay. Ness?
Yeah, let me add one thing
Yeah,
real quick.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I think, yeah. Go
I
for
was
it.
just gonna say one of the best things is like walking down the street and just talking about what you did earlier. You know what I mean? Like it's like two coaches just discussing the plays. That was good when that happened. Yeah, that was good. Okay, well we got you know what I mean?
Right.
I
You know what
like
I'm
that kind
saying?
of stuff. I like that
Yes,
kind of
yes,
stuff. You know what I mean? But
yes,
anyway,
yeah.
like coaches got
Yeah.
little whistles on. Coach Cat, we're walking down the street holding hands, like go
You know
get
what I'm
some coffee.
saying?
Like that was
You
great
in the
earlier.
plays.
She's like, I want to get my shoes stuck in the ceiling fan again. I like it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway.
Go ahead, Ness.
So yeah, I think they touched
Hey,
it.
yo.
Like you,
hey, bars.
I'm sorry. That was my fault. Sorry.
Yo, these drops are gonna be
Sorry,
crazy,
the clips
Jay.
are gonna be. Yeah, I'm
Yo,
gonna go
the
click
trailer
crazy
clips.
with this one. You know what
The
I'm
trailer
saying?
clips.
He said they
But,
touched it all.
yeah. I feel like for me, I don't think my answer is going to change too much from the last
Okay.
question. The if is sex important? I think it's the same
Okay.
answer. It's more about the compatibility between the partners. And as far as like if nasty sex has to be there, it's maybe for the sake of not being
Right.
monotonous. You don't want to have the same patterns. You don't want to go running the same plays and
Right.
doing all that, because it's just it
Right.
gets boring. So you have to have those plans. You have to talk to each other, figure things out, and plan before, talk about things after, talk about things during. Like, hey, that's not working. Do
That's
something a little
right.
different real
That's
quick.
right. Hey,
Try
put your
this real
leg, put your leg on the shoulder. Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, put that right here. I got you. No problem.
It's just all things you can't be afraid to do. You got to
Right.
talk to each other, for sure. And I don't think I think that's pretty much it. You just have to be comfortable exploring new things with each other if you really want to. If you feel things are
Right.
getting boring, you have to definitely let them know, hey, this isn't doing it for me anymore. Like, I want to try
Right.
something different. You can't just let it go stale and then just expect them to know that you're not feeling it. Like, you have to say
Talk that
something.
shit.
Um,
No,
yeah.
I agree. I agree totally. I think so. It sounds like everyone's saying the same things, and I think that's cool. Yeah, and I agree. Like Dre saying, nasty might be our regular shit. That's cool, but sometimes it's like, son, but you can't handcuff me every Tuesday, son. Like some Tuesdays we gotta get the chocolate syrup out the cabinet or something. Like, so I totally
Yeah.
get that. And I think everyone had key points. Communication is definitely important before, during, after. I totally agree with that as well. I don't think we're really saying anything different here. And I think the overall message is let's work together so things do not become monotonous. And I think that I agree once again that should be the goal. The goal should always be mutually beneficial, mutual pleasure, and memorable moments. That's something I'm big on. Let's have a memorable experience. I like the kind of shit that 2 days later I'm at work and I'm like, oh man, but that shit the other day though, man, oh, that shit was nice. You know what I'm saying? Or you might just get a phone call. Hey, real quick, you busy at work? Nah, babe, what's up? You remember that shit from Thursday? Ooh, girl, get off the phone. I'm at work. I can't be thinking about that shit right now. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of shit I think we should all be, as a society, just aiming to do on a regular basis. I think when everybody has a good time, we have good memories. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we're all done on this topic, yes? All right,
Yeah.
let's move to the last topic. It's about to get not so funny in here. We had a lot of good laughs. Now it's time to get serious. So, we all know that the internet and the hood love to tell people on Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day. And love to tell mothers on Father's Day also, Happy Father's Day. And they like to say that there are, let me not say they, but there are some single moms who say, hey, I'm everybody. I'm mom and dad. And so my question is, can a mom replace a dad? I leave it for anybody who's ready.
All right. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Oh.
Niggas is double dutching today.
Crossing
You know what I'm
legs and all
saying?
that. Crossing legs and all that. We see the kneecap. We see the kneecap,
Yeah,
Jay.
I'm comfortable right now.
it's a interesting question. I'm going to take this from the approach of someone raised by two women. Um, I don't think. I think it's insane. First off, that
What
happens,
happens?
right?
Let's have
That
some
it's like
specificity.
on specifically on like Father's Day, yeah, because the mom did it all by herself and this and that. That they have to that's a thing that happens. Oh yeah, wish them a happy Father's Day. Um, it's it's a funny situation, right? Because not always is it that the father isn't involved, but that happens to be where we always go whenever it is a single mother. Right? It's always, the dad, he's just not around. That's it. And it's like you have no idea about what the situation is. You're just making
Talk
those
to him,
assumptions. Right? But apart from that, the mother is the mother. It's simply, for me, it's simply a title. I don't think it goes to like the gender roles conversation, right? There aren't jobs specifically that a mother or father have, their job is the same, and it's to raise the child as best as they can. And I don't think that there's anything that would wholly be missed. Um, this is where like the conversation really gets deeper and murkier. Is I don't think there's anything that would be missed if the father isn't wholly present. I think for the most part, you're just missing another person in your life, because those are just different lived experiences that they can't impart onto you. I don't think it's necessarily anything to do with like the mother providing specific experiences and the father providing specific. It's just another person that could provide other life experiences to you. And yes, possibly it could be it could definitely be lived experiences from the point of view of a man to present to their child. But I feel it isn't something that would it's not always something that's going to affect them negatively. And I think that's usually how people approach that is, oh, they're missing this person in their life, so they're going to turn out shit. And that's not really true. Like, they'll definitely be living a very different life, but I don't think it's going to harm them in a huge way.
Okay. Dre, I know you was ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that well, first when when someone is saying, "Oh, I'm both the mom and the dad," or whatever, I feel like that's coming out of some pain. You know what I'm saying? Because something went wrong. No, most people don't have children and be like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to have a mom around or a father around or whoever." Most people want those people to be there, but then something goes wrong and you have to do what you have to do. You get into survival mode, and a lot of times to compensate for that, you start saying things like, "Well, he don't matter or she don't matter," or whatever. And I think that's just coming out of pain. I know, for me, my father was there and not there, there and not there. And I for the most part of my life had like surrogate fathers in one way or another. I got a lot of male mentors and things in my life that I needed because I needed a male perspective on things, and I am very grateful that, I had these sort of like surrogate dads to come in at different points of my life and help guide me in a sense, because, my mother can only do so much. She can only be who she is. She couldn't be my father because my father was my father, So I think that, man, the male or the father does play a role. Now that might be biological dad, that might be a mentor, that might be a stepdad, but I feel like as a young child coming up, it's great to have that different parental perspective on things, and it helps relieve the other parent. The biggest thing when you're parent, parenting solo, is that everything's on you, right? You just got to do it all by yourself, and that creates a lot of pressure. And from that pressure, I think comes like some sadness or disappointment. And, because people get sad or disappointed, they will say, "Well, I don't want it anyway," right? When you can't get to something, you tend to put it down because you see it as not being achievable. I don't want nobody in my life anyway. I'm fine by myself. And it's like, yeah, you've just pretty much given up. It may not necessarily be true. And I say that because when those people do get someone in their lives, when someone does come in, they feel way better. You see what I'm saying? So I think raising a child, I think having two parents is great. Also, and having a great village, which is not really the question you were asking, but having a great village helps raise a child as well. And perhaps like myself, if you do have a great village, you start to get these like great surrogate type fathers in your life.
Okay. So real quick before Days and Dex join in, I just want to get a final yes no. Ness, can a mom replace a dad?
Short answer, I think it is possible, but it's not like that they're replacing those experiences. They can handle, I see it as they can handle the job of raising Solo.
Okay. And Dre, real quick, yes or no?
No, a dog can't replace a cat. These are different things. Sorry.
Okay. All right, Dex, Days, whoever wants to go next.
Days, you want to go?
Uh-oh. All right, I wasn't sure.
I'll go.
I was like, wait a minute. I don't know if people got scared, if it froze. I don't know what happened.
We are in such a different era now where there's so many different types of families.
Yeah.
And and also in this information age, if you don't know how to raise a young man, you could find out how to. You know what I'm saying? But it goes deeper than that. It actually goes deeper than that. Do you want to raise your child having a understanding of gender roles, or you just want them to just be whatever they want to be now? This is the world we're in now. You know what I mean? But I'm talking from a mother and father perspective. We all know that a mother can handle the job. We already know that. We've seen many examples of that. But I fall with Dre here as far as saying that you need a male example of a male in your life. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully the father could be there to show an example that he's not a bum. But even if the mother's by themselves, that there's men who are good examples of how a man should act with integrity as he grows older, that you could see as an example of how you should be and act and behave with ladies. You know what I mean? In certain situations, how to behave and control yourself. I think that's important. But again, I'm talking from a strict mother-father thing. We're in a new era. It's a tricky era. You know what I mean? Where there's a lot of different thought patterns to people getting together and having children now, or adopting children, or whatever, have surrogate parents. We got a lot of stuff going on now. But I'm standing with that. If we're talking mother, father, separated, or whatever the case may be, that child should, boy or girl, should see an example of what a good man should be as you grow up and you want to marry someone. You should have seen an example of what a real man should behave like to a lady. You know what I mean? And as a young woman, you should be able to say, all right, that's the type of guy. I don't want this bum. I've seen an example of a man of integrity. That's what I say. Same thing with a boy. I see an example of how I should act and treat people around me because I've seen that example too. And vice versa. The same thing. If it was a dad, and we're not talking about dad replacing moms, but if it flipped, same thing. I better have, if I'm a single dad and I have my daughter here, I better have some good, strong women examples of how to behave in the world and how to carry themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Days.
Yo, Dre, you a fool.
Hey, Jay. No, but just listening to y'all, express what y'all express is just it just got me curious about something, right? That I want to pose aside from the question, because I'm just curious. These women, because I think things like this is important. The women themselves, what if they had strong male figures in their lives? What if they had fathers in their lives?
Mm-hmm.
Does that kind of tip the scale a little bit?
Can I go in on that?
I'm curious.
Can I go in on
Sure,
that?
sure.
And I'm gonna take that question with a question, and that is, and y'all just y'all gotta be real. Y'all gotta be real, because I'm gonna pose it to y'all as I answer it myself. And that is, when I'm dating a woman, I can see the difference of a woman who's had her dad in her life and the woman who has not. It is night and day. Women don't want to admit it. Women who haven't had their dads in their life don't want to admit it. But women who have their dads in their life, they won't say it around other women, but they'll quietly be like, yeah, you're right. It's night and day. You know, when you deal with a woman that's only grew up with a woman and maybe they demonize men, I don't know, and you date her, it's a lot different when you're dating a woman has had a man in her life, has had her dad in her life. It is night and day and way better in my perspective, but I want to know how y'all feel. But that's what's up, Days.
Yes, Dre, I'm everything you said. Yeah. Everything you said, yes. But yes, I just wanted to throw that out there because that's what I'm thinking. You know, that because I'm saying I don't want to be politically correct, but focusing on the word replace, I think, you know, based off of what y'all say, I said some great things, that a mother could still do her job as a mom, you know, to her child, you know, without the father being around. Now we talking about replacing him. When you say replacing him, that means, you know, fulfilling, right, some of those
Yes.
voids, like doing those things that now that, you know, that changes things, of course, right? That's why I said I think you guys said some great things, but while y'all was talking, that's pretty much what I was thinking about, like just the whole aspect of, you know, the word replace, you know, within itself and what it means. And I could see a mom doing, you know, I could see her raising her kids, you know, doing what she got to do, you know, without a father present. But just, you know, as far as replacing him, you know, that kind of changes things.
Okay, so
for
what's
me.
your answer? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Care to elaborate on why, or you want to leave it at no? It's your choice. I'm just asking before I let someone else speak.
I kind of just, I think
Yeah,
I
he
said
just
it
said it.
in my
Yeah, he
answer.
just said it.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
we lost
I could
X. Go ahead.
see
Keep
them,
going.
like I could see a mom holding it down. You get what I'm saying? And like I said, also I'm thinking about what I said before I answered the question about, you know, a woman that was raised with her father. You know, she has, you know, different points of reference now. She has the mother point of reference. She has the father point of reference. You get what I'm saying? Based off of what his principalities and what his morale was, you know, and vice versa to the mom.
Right.
So I think that could change things because that wasn't mentioned. So, you know, when I'm answering, I'm thinking about that as well. You know,
Okay. Ness, you want to respond before I?
Yeah, so I think from my point of view of when I say that um the mom can replace the dad, I am strictly speaking in the regards of raising them and being able to impart whatever lessons that the dad could potentially teach, because a lot of people will frame it as if only the dad can impart certain lessons, right? Now I am not going to say that there probably isn't a need for a positive male role model in the child's life. I'm not going to say that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the dad. It could be anyone else. There could be a really good uncle, a really good friend of the family, someone who's there, and shows the son how to act as a man, shows the daughter how she should be treated by men, and things like that. Um, and that's definitely something that's important. I don't think it's something that necessarily is the dad needs to be there for. And then some of those lessons um, can be imparted in different ways by the mom. Because there's a lot of things about the way that I treat people, the way that I treat women, the way that I act with my friends, and all of that, that mostly came from my mom. And I don't think that I lacked that I'm missing some big thing because my dad wasn't like implicitly there all the time. Or because there are things too that I got from him, but I don't think it was anything that I would wholly be missing a lot.
All right. Everybody still good?
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yep, yep,
I
yep,
was
yep,
I was
yep,
talking
yep,
about
yep,
the
yep.
the point that one of the points that Dre made, the idea of a person, you know, or one of the parents thinking, well, you know, because this person is not present, then I have to stand in their place. That's one of the things that I'm saying. Like, no, you can still do what you need to do or what you feel you need to do, you know, to raise your child, you know, in a sufficient way. But you know, you don't have to take on the identity of the other parent to be successful, you know.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
um you know, that's basically what I'm saying. Like, but however, if a person feel like that, then, you know, so be it. I can't say that they wrong, but you know, ultimately that's what I feel like, you know, a single father could be successful and still, you know, stand in the place in which of a single father, you know, quote unquote. I know those titles, they vary, because I don't know, I even think they sketchy. Some people will call themselves a single, you know, mother because they don't, you know, want the child to be with the father. But it's like, if the father's trying to, you know, fulfill his position as a father, that doesn't make you a single mother. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, those titles, they do, I don't know, you know, they fall where they may, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's part of the point of what I was saying, you know, as far as like a person feeling like, well, you know, I'm the father's not here, so I got to take on his position. Some people feel like that's what they need to do to be successful as a parent, and not, you know, some people they don't, you know. So
Okay. Dex,
I
I
agree.
know I know that you were in and out for a second due to some technical difficulties.
Y'all hear me?
Before
Okay.
yeah, we hear you, Dre.
Okay.
You hear us?
Yeah, I do. Go ahead. Let's make
All
sure.
right. No, it's all right. Did you have anything you wanted to say before I chime in?
No, I'm just listening. I hear everybody what everybody's saying, and I agree with what everybody's saying. You know.
Okay. Okay. Ness, did you have another rebuttal before I go? Because if y'all
No,
are starring, I don't want to get in the middle. That's how you get hit. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, it's funny because what I'm thinking isn't far off from what everybody else is saying.
Okay.
It's just the way I'm viewing it, from the direction I'm viewing it. And I guess wholly, like as a whole, yes, I probably agree with everybody else that a mom can't replace a dad. But I don't see it when I think of it as them replacing the other parent. I'm not seeing it as them taking on their role. I'm just seeing it as them fulfilling their duty as a parent.
That's it.
Period.
absolutely,
That's
I can
it.
see
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I can
hear
see
you on
that.
that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. So
I
I
can see
see.
your point on that.
That's just the way I'm looking at the question.
No.
No, I can see your point on that. No, that was
That
great.
was it.
That was,
I
that was
totally
great.
agree
That
with what
was
you
bad
just
at all.
said.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with that. And that's part of why I like this forum, right? So before I chime in, the reason why I like these types of questions are because even though we are all coming from different walks of life, different eras, different generations, it doesn't mean that your perspective is not valid. And I also think that the viewers can gain something. This is my thought. I'm not assuming, but I think that people can gain something from hearing other perspectives. Very often we're locked in tunnel vision, right? We just see the one person. We just see the one perspective. We've got like blinders on. It's like, nah, I can't. I just see right here. But sometimes when you hear other perspectives, when you see where another person is coming from, it benefits multiple people. Some of us on the pod might benefit from hearing something somebody else said. Maybe when I wrote the question down, I knew my answer. But now hearing y'all, I'm like, oh, damn, maybe my answer is different now. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I bring these types of questions to the pod, because I want to be thought-provoking and allow people the space to bring their perspective as the quote-unquote average Joe. That's one. And two, bringing it to this question specifically, I know multiple people on this panel are parents, and I know some of the upbringings of the people on this podcast. And so, yeah, I know, Ness, that you came from a specific type of household. I know the type of household that Dre came from, Tez came from. I know some of what Dre has been through on his come up. Dex and me probably kicked it the least about parental things and the way we grew up as far as households go. But I think that's part of also what makes it interesting, because days growing up with both parents around all the time is different than what Dre is saying, where dad was there, not there, not there. And both of those are very different than you, who's coming from a 2-mom household. And so that's why I thought that this would be a great question to bring to the podcast, both for ourselves and our viewers. To chime in a little bit, I see multiple perspectives. Obviously, I know your mother. I was around your household very often. The same thing with Tez, who's not here. I was around both of your parents and households a lot coming up. And my parents were both in my life, even though they split at a certain age and closer to this person. And I'm also a parent. So I see all these different perspectives, right? I see me as a person who came up in my 2-parent household and how roles changed both when they were together and when they were not, right? I see the perspective of hanging out with you. All right. Yeah, I'm in Nestor's crib. There's no dad here. We're just kicking it with mom and so-and-so. You know, same thing. Went to Tez's crib. So, you know, over there, you know, and I think all of these things kind of paint different pictures. And so I see a lot of different pieces to this puzzle. But the key word here is still replace, right? So my answer is no. I don't think a mom can replace a dad. And here's why. 3 letters, DNA. Now, this may sound kind of crazy in 2022. Maybe I sound like a caveman. Y'all can let me know. But I know that my daughter is half of me and half of someone else. And so even to understand who she is, I believe she needs to know both of those people. I believe she needs to feed off of both of those people, right? So she's got dad. She's got traits from dad. She's got mom. She's got traits from mom. Mom could say, yeah, your dad always used to bite his nails. That doesn't tell you shit. You don't know why dad did it. Oh yeah, I used to bite my nails for these reasons. You don't know. You just have these things embedded in you that you just don't understand from not having this other person around. Oh man, but why is it so hard for me to do this thing? Oh well, you don't know because I'm not around, but my whole family struggles with that. You know, I remember when my daughter's mother was pregnant, one of the first things I said was, oh, our kid is going to have allergies, asthma, and need glasses. And people are like, oh my God, that's so negative. Why would you say that? Well, because most of my family has allergies, asthma, and wears glasses. So if they're 50% of me, there's a high chance that they're going to have these problems. And my daughter has allergies and glasses. And so to understand where these characteristics are coming from, where some of these mannerisms are coming from, you need that other person. You don't know where these things are coming from if that other person is not there. So can a dad replace a mom? No. Can a mom replace a dad? No. That's my honest answer, because there's just things that are from that person inside of you that you don't know. And you won't be able to fully connect with without having that piece of the puzzle. You don't know. Hey, why is this like this? How come my toe is kind of crooked? Oh, you ain't know, for some reason the whole family is like that. We still don't know. We still trying to find what happened in Puerto Rico or DR, wherever the fuck, all those years ago. But for some reason, the whole squad, we got a fucked up pinky. But you thinking, man, I'm fucked up. Something's wrong with me. No, it's genetics. But if you ain't got nobody to kick it with, you don't know. Hey, how come every time I eat peanut butter, my throat gets itchy, even though they say that I'm not allergic? Oh, because our allergy works a little different. You got to take this kind of medicine, not that kind of medicine. We could do this freestyle shit all day. My point is, there's just shit that you don't know. And I'm not talking about the simple shit. Oh, yeah, well, dad wasn't around to teach him how to pee, so we Googled how to shoot at the Cheerios. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about much deeper things that are inside of your genetics, inside of your psyche. Those are the things that you need from both parents. And again, I think you guys all had great points. Ness, absolutely. A parent's job is to be a parent and prepare their child for that outside world that is trying to crush them when they're no longer a child. I agree. That's the job of a parent. But mom don't know the shit that dad knows, and dad don't know the shit that mom knows about them and their squad. I mean, honestly. So that's my answer. I don't think mom can replace dad. It irks the fuck out of me when I hear people say, oh, happy Father's Day to your mom. No, that's not your dad. And it will never be your dad, because you have a dad. You had another person's DNA team up with that person's DNA to create the thing that you are. This beautiful being that you have created together needs to be raised together. Obviously, there are lots of complications in life. People split up. People may have never been together, but we have duties as parents. And hey, yeah, there are people who are pieces of shit and say, fuck you and that kid. I'm not going to be there. That is your right as an American citizen, but you're doing that child a disservice. That child still needs that other parent. So if you're a single parent and you feel offended, sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm sure I'm going to get lots of phone calls about this. Put it in the comments. That's what I'm going to tell y'all before y'all even call me. Put it in the comments. But that's my take. Perhaps long-winded, but I wanted to try to hit some of the points you all said and come from a different perspective. I know Joe Budden has a song that we love. Tez loves it too. I'm sad he can't be here for this, but there's a song where Joe Budden is called Love, I'm Good. This is not an ad. Joe Budden did not pay me, but the song is called Love, I'm Good. And he speaks about, as a parent who has not been able to fully be in his kid's life, how he sees his mannerisms in that child, even though he was not able to really be in that child's life. His characteristics, when the kid gets angry, he acts just like him. All of those things that, guess what? They're just because it's his DNA. It's because, nigga, that's me right there. I remember when my kid couldn't even talk yet. I'm like, baby, you can't touch that right there. Everybody who's a parent, y'all know, once kids could start touching shit, they could start walking, they want to pull everything down. Oh, pull this camera down. I pulled this whole house down. Before my kid could talk, she was doing things just like me. I'm like, yo, you can't even talk yet, and you acting just like me. It took me 24 years to learn this shit. She's already me. She can't even talk yet. She barely could walk. She got the wobble walk. Like, you know, still trying to keep my bearings. It's just in you. It's just DNA. But if there's no one there to help you figure that shit out, you feel fucking lost. That's my take.
Yeah, I wanna respond to you, and
go for it.
You know, you went in. So, I think having that genetic information that you're talking about is good to have if you can get it, right?
Sure.
I feel like you bring up some very important points in terms of genetics. We know genetics are important, and if you can have that information, great. But I also feel like we are confusing, or society confuses, these titles of mom and dad with virtue. Because just because someone is your mother doesn't necessarily mean they're virtuous, and just because someone is your father doesn't necessarily mean we're virtuous. We know that there are a lot of toxic parents out there, toxic moms and toxic dads, and so just by saying, "Oh, I'm a mom," and people do this shit all the time. This is what irks me. "Oh, I'm a mom." What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't necessarily mean you're living a virtuous life, or you're treating your kids the quote unquote right way. Or for someone say, "I'm a dad," it doesn't mean you're doing virtuous things. I know plenty of people who had moms and dads who are alcoholics and abusive and et cetera, et cetera. Now, I also wanted to say human beings are very resilient, right? There are plenty of human beings who lost their parents for one reason or another, who never knew their parents, and they grow up okay. You know what I'm saying? They grow up fine, or some may even grow up quote unquote successful or whatever. The virtues that you need in life, hopefully you get them from somewhere. It might be that extended family, grandma, uncle, whatever. It may just be complete strangers, mentors, teachers, whoever. But to try to say that one thing replaces another, or one thing is not needed, I think that's a little bit too far. I feel like if someone can have their parents in their life, and these are virtuous parents, I think that's fucking awesome, and we see that. But is it needed? Like, you must have that? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all remember, this is a little silly, but we all remember the cartoon fucking Tarzan, right? Tarzan grew up in the goddamn jungle with no fucking parents, and apes and shit, raising him. And he was like, "Oh, this is my shit." You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even that's kind of like an extreme bullshit example that's just trying to be funny. But it's like, there's plenty of people who, never knew their fucking parents and just moved on and did the best that they can, and grew up and whatever. Now, they always have this question in the back of my mind, who's my mom, who's my dad? In fact, people who get adopted, they might love their adopted parents, but a lot of them will seek their mom, their genetic mom,
parents.
The biologicals, right? They might seek those because there's still this, as Jay is saying, this desire to get more genetic sort of information. It's like, hey, I grew up fine, the people who adopted me. In fact, I mean, we can go right to Steve Jobs, right? Like, Steve Jobs was adopted, and his parents gave him everything, his adopted parents. But he still had this need to kind of see who his parents like, what was the deal, or always feeling like abandoned, or not having value because he kind of went through that. Right. So I wouldn't say that he needed those parents, but it would have been good if he could have had them. And so that's pretty much my point, is that virtue and being a mom or dad are not the same things. And human beings are resilient, even if they don't have particular things in their lives. A lot of times people will make it anyway. A lot of times other things come into people's lives and they become great adults, and live great lives. So that word need is just kind of like on my brain. It's like, well, no, I don't know if you need it, but if you can get it, it's great. And those of us who don't have it, what we do? We compensate somehow. We just say, okay, I don't have my dad, or I don't have my mom, or whatever. Let me just move on and try my best in life and try to succeed. Anything in your life that you don't have, you just try to compensate for it. Oh, you need this, and then you don't have it, and you say, okay, well, I'll try something else. You know what I'm saying? So I want to kind of, I feel what you're saying in terms of like, oh yeah, a mom saying I'm the mom, or the dad, or a dad saying I'm the mom too. It's like, no, you are what you are, and you can't invalidate or validate a particular person, you know what I'm saying, if they're not there. You just have to be who you are and raise your kids to the best of your ability.
Oh, that's well said. I dig all of that.
I
Oh, go ahead, Ness. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you brought up like adoptive parents, because that was kind of like my next train of thought from there.
Okay.
Kind of attached to like with what Jay was saying. Um, it's that's where that'll happen, right? You have adoptive parents, you don't know your bio parents, you don't know that part of you, you don't essentially, you have a sense of loss in understanding who you are because you don't have that biological connection.
Right.
But the adoptive parents are still able to, in a sense, replace the bio parents in that aspect, as far as raising them and as far as imparting whatever ideals and values onto them. And then all that happens is they're just missing that part, which is like their history. And when I say in that whole thing where mom can replace a dad, it's that idea. It's the idea that yes, there's a part of them that they can't replace, but in that whole thing, like they are still replacing a portion of what that parent is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dex, Days, any thoughts?
That might sound good.
They kind of summed it up. They kind of summed it up pretty well. But yeah, Jay, you said some good stuff as well. I did have a point, but I kind of lost it.
Got you. Sorry, I was long winded, but I was waiting my turn. You know what I'm saying? I didn't cut anybody off. I was patient. I let people ask their questions, and I just sat here soaking it up. I said, okay, when it's my turn, I'm gonna go.
No, well, anything I say would just, pretty much surround, the same thing of, you know, the mother being successful, doing what she doing, and like I said, it's just that mindset of the person feeling like, well, this person is not here, so then I have to not only do what I'm doing, but take on their place as well. And like I said, some people may feel like that's the right thing to do to fulfill their situation, and some people may not.
Okay.
Here's a question: do we think that? Well, I don't know, but do we think that single parents, man or woman, when they have a child of the same sex or opposite sex, would like that child to see a good role model of the opposite sex from them? You see what I'm saying? You think if a mother,
Can we define what a single parent is?
all right, let's say there's no,
Can
let's
we
say
define that?
the biological father
What's a
is
single
not
parent?
in the child's life. Let's say that, right? So
Okay.
now, do we think that single parent is thinking that, is that a thought that they have on their mind? I'm just randomly asking. I don't have any behind the scenes thing. I'm just saying.
No, but I'm not. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it different ways. I'm looking at it like a father, considering himself a single parent, mother considering herself a single. Like I hear a lot of people throw that term around. How is it even defined? Like, is it like relative to some people?
Well,
Like,
Dex
I'm saying,
example is
I'm
an absence.
yeah,
The other parent is absent.
The parent is absent, not involved
but some
at all.
people, like I remember we were saying earlier. Some people will be in a relationship, like Dre was saying, and things wouldn't work out, and now the person want to consider themselves a single parent because they feel like they're not in a relationship with the father or with the mother. Is that what is considered to be a single parent?
I think that you're talking about a household. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can be co-parenting, but then not have both parents in the household, right? Which is, millions of people do.
Yeah.
So it could be a single parent where it's like the other person is just not around and it's just you, to me, that's a single parent. There's a difference between co-parenting where, one person is seeing them, every other weekend or, half the week or something like that. That's co-parenting. That's a little bit.
No, but not even that. I'm saying it's like I said, it's the mindset. That's why I was making that point.
Yeah.
Like there's some people that feel like, well, I was in a relationship with this person, we had a kid, we separated, I'm a single parent. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, people do say that, but the issue is the other parent in a person's life, because if the other parent is there, then you're not a single parent. You're co-parenting, and you just don't have a 2-person household. That's the difference.
You're single,
and there are some pros,
but you're
or,
co-parenting.
to having.
I'm sorry, you're single, but you're co-parenting. That's what you're saying.
yeah, you're a single person.
No,
You're
but
a
you're right.
single
I was trying not to cut anybody off, but yeah, I think that people kind of get wrapped up in like the custodial sense, right?
Yeah.
Where the court says, okay, Dre has custody of Nestor, so now Dre is a single parent. But if Nestor's mom is still active, if Nestor's mom is still participating, then Dre would not be a single parent.
Yeah. He's just
He
single.
has legal custody.
He's just single,
Sure.
but he's co-parenting.
No,
Right.
that's why I said mindset.
Right.
That's why I was
Right.
saying the mindset.
So I'm talking.
A lot of this stuff is about the
All right,
mindset.
I hear what you're saying. I'm talking
Go ahead.
single, not co-parenting. Parents, the other parents are bum.
Okay.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. What do we think? I don't know. Every situation is individual, right? So I'm just surmising. We're just spitballing here. Do we think most parents in that position? Do we think most parents in that position will say, "All right, Johnny, I want at least I want him to have some good role models as to look up to, because I'm not a man. I'm going to do my part and raise him properly, but I want him to at least see some good role models." Do we think that most single parents in that position think that way? We had to ask a single parent.
It's hard to say.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, not even that. It's all about value. So it's like if the person values what a man can bring, then they will say, "Oh no, I want you to be in football or be in martial arts, or like try to get you into being around other men or whatever so you can get into a Big Brother program or something, right? If you value that. But if you don't value that, then they won't care. So it's hard to answer it.
Right.
Most people do this, most people do that, because we are living in a time where the value that men bring is kind of being devalued. So it's hard for me to say. I mean, I've seen women, single parent women, the ones that you're talking about, how you defined it, who do say, "Yo, I want this person to be around these brothers or around these men because they have something that I can't bring." But I also see just the same, where women just like, it don't matter. All he needs is me, or all she needs is me, and that's it. So it's all about, does that person value it? And I don't know.
I hear you.
So that's me not answering your question.
Nah, but that was good though, because it's hard to say most, right? We won't know without doing some kind of poll or getting some kind of
right.
survey or statistics or study. I mean, we can all give opinions based on our lived experience, but I think that it varies person to person. I think Dre hit it on the head. I know someone who, during the pandemic, purposely was artificially inseminated, and their plan was, I'm going to raise this child by myself. I don't want a spouse. This will be my child in full. And they said, but I know that I'm having a boy and I don't know everything that a boy needs to know. So I will make sure that they are around my father and my brothers so they can soak up game and still have positive men in their lives. Now, That's one person I know. I also know single mothers who say, hey, listen, I'm trying with dad, but dad ain't doing his job. I'm trying, but the door's open, but dad is not showing up. I'm just going to do what I can do. And I also know fathers who are saying, hey, I'm trying to be in my kid's life. My kid needs me, but I'm not really, I'm getting a lot of hard time. I have to go through the courts. This is the only way I'm getting any time with my child. And so I think that it is a case by case basis. I think it goes back to what Days said about mentality. And I think it goes back to what Dre is also saying. I think both these brothers are correct, that it also has to do with the value that they see in the opposite sex. If I was raising a little girl, I don't know everything about being a girl. I've never been a girl. So personally, yes, I would want my child, in your example of the opposite sex, right? I would want my little girl who I have to raise alone in this example. Yeah, I would want her to be around other women. Get her around my sister, get her around some of my close lady friends, around women that I trust, women that I value, so she can see those same type of things and see, okay, so this is how it goes. Okay, yeah. Oh, I should put my pads in a little pouch. Okay, cool. I mean, it's so many small, intricate things that I just am not familiar with because I've never been a woman. And so, yeah, me personally, would I want that? Yeah. But I think it goes back to what Dre and Days both said. Mentality and the values that they hold for the opposite sex.
Random.
Ness?
Oh, sorry.
I honestly was not gonna say anything different from what Dre said.
Oh, okay.
Because yeah, that's literally like the same thought I had. It depends on the person and how they view the opposite sex. Because you have a lot of people that's like they've had bad experiences with the opposite sex, and that's all they've had. So you know what? I don't want that.
Right.
So I'm not gonna have them around nobody because they're all trash and
They're condemned.
Yeah. So it's it really depends on the parent, on the person.
A random.
Go ahead,
a
Dex.
random
Or Days, did you have something?
Sorry, Days.
Dex. Oh, no, go.
No, it's Dex.
A random
He's on
aside. A random aside. Sorry, chatty tonight. A random aside.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You're bringing value. Don't apologize.
Dre, you said something that was really interesting about dating certain women, and you could tell they were raised with a father and stuff. Very interesting. Here's a random little anecdote. I was sitting with my younger daughter having lunch, and for the first time, you're the dad, you're the last person to hear about dudes. You know what I'm saying? But she told me about a dude that she was dating, and she said, he reminded me of you. That's very touching to hear. You know what I'm saying? That she looked for somebody or saw somebody with similarities and was rock with him. She dumped his ass, but she still saw good qualities that I had. Shout out Double R if you're watching this. I didn't tell the whole story, so don't be mad. Okay.
Shout out Double
If she's
R.
watching. I gotta be careful. I can't say too much shit. I can't say too much
but
shit.
she saw qualities of being him.
Yeah, she still dumped him, but that's a whole other story. I ain't gonna tell you what she said. I'll
She
tell
dumped
you.
his ass. That's
She,
crazy.
Nah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
he wasn't me, you know what I'm saying? But she saw good qualities and she said that.
Clearly.
Right.
It was touching.
Clearly.
It was
But
touching.
and even though she broke up with him, it's like, but that's what opened the door.
Yes.
That's what gave the guy at least the in for say, hey, I'm open to getting to know you because you remind me of my dad. I've dated women where I look at pictures of their dad and I'm like, yo, this dude look mad familiar. He look like me. And they will come out and say, yeah, I don't know. I guess, y'all do kind of look alike.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that is a lot of times that is very, very common. Like women who have fathers in their lives, especially if they love their dad, they're going to seek men who look like them or remind them in some way or have these characteristics. And that is an attractive thing, because they love their dad. And so when they meet this person, they're like, I know I've seen it where it's like, they'll quote their dad to whoever they're dating. Like, my dad always says blah, blah, blah. My dad always said that. And if you've been in those kind of relationships, like people who had their dad in life and they loved their dad, they're always quoting something that their dad told them.
Yeah.
It's like etched in their heart and in their brain. So yeah, I mean, whether it works out or not, that is the way most women who have fathers in their lives are like, hey, you know, it's this thing. It's like, man, I'm looking for a guy that's, I don't know, kind of like, you know, my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Definitely.
It was great.
They'll come to your house. Oh shit, my dad has this book. Like,
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
bet he does.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I dated one chick. Me and her dad got along so well. It was kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like when I finally met her dad, I was like, yo, this dude. Because already, like I said, like I'll be very honest. Like I kind of consciously or subconsciously seek out like surrogate dads. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Jay would tell you like the dude who first trained me in strength training was like an older dude who was just like, you know, I just was like, I'm comfortable with going under your wing. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of seek out those relationships. Oh, okay, yeah.
Dave knows Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
From
like,
Deacon.
Yeah.
so it's like when I met her dad, you know, I was like, oh, this dude is mad cool. And we just started kicking it. And then, I mean, it was kind of crazy because it's like you were talking to my dad for like 3 hours. I'm like, I didn't even know where the time
We
went.
was having a blast.
Yeah, we just started talking about and then he started bringing up conspiracy theories, and then you know, I mean, that shit. And then he brought up the Matrix, and it was over. You know,
Now I'm moving in.
done. Right.
Not even with you. I'm moving in with your pops.
Yeah, but that was something that she always looked at. It's like, wow, like, okay, I like that I'm dating someone who gets along with my father so well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though, we broke up, but it was like that was like a thing. That was one of the things that we you know, she liked. So yeah, it's very common. But on the flip side of that, when women don't have that dad in their life, and they've grown up demonizing men, oh my God. It's not nice. They're just like, yo, all men are dogs. I don't trust you because you're a man and you're going to do this, and you're going to just like, whoa, where's this coming from?
That's sad.
You know, like I just said hi. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've seen both. I've definitely dealt with women who I'm like, yo, your dad sounds awesome. Like when I get to hang out with your dad, like you alright, but where your pops at? He sound like a cool ass dude. Like, word, that's what he likes. Me and him should chop it up. And I also dealt with women who's like, oh yeah, I don't know my dad, and I don't know this, and I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, you can see the difference. I've definitely seen both, but I want to go on record and say, women with daddy issues need love too.
Oh, sure. It's
You know what I'm
just a
saying?
lot of. They just have a harder exterior, is what I'm saying.
Mentioning that, right? They gonna cancel us.
I
I'm
can go
saying?
in. Listen.
No, because I know go ahead.
No, I'm saying they do need love too, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they just have a way harder exterior from what I've seen. You know, it's a lot of mistrust with men because mom has been telling them whole lives how messed up men are, and your dad did this wrong thing, and be careful because just like your dad did to me, blah 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 blah. And so they have all these like walls put up because men are horrible, and so you know I have to be careful because you know, men are just bad. You know what I'm saying? And you have to kind of
but
get
men are
through
pretty
that.
horrible though. I feel like it's only a few good men. You know what I'm saying?
You got a movie called that.
I know, that's why I said it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the other name of this podcast. A few good men.
Bars.
You know what I'm saying?
Bars.
Nah, but you're right, Dre. I was being silly, but I said the you know, need love too thing because you know I don't want them to think we're just bashing and
It's not a bash.
we're only down to date women who have, you know, great dad figures in their lives.
Put it like this.
Yeah.
Put it like this.
No way to be one-sided.
Right.
No, put it like this. When women are dating men, they want to know how you treat your mom. Women say that all the time. And it's not a bash. It's like, I want to know, the relationship between you and your mom,
Yeah.
right? They want to know, do you know what's going on with that? Because in their eyes, based on how you treat your mom or how you see your mom, might be a reflection on how you see women.
Right.
And so if you have a loving relationship with your mom, as far as they're concerned, you'll have a loving relationship with other women,
Right.
you know, and vice versa. So women do it too, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's not a bash. It's just certain things you kind of look for when you're dating someone.
No, and you're right, because anytime I date a woman and we get to the point where I'm like, yeah, I don't rock with my mom, they're all like, what? Are you crazy? How? Why? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you know, shit happens. And if you stick
Right.
around long enough, maybe you'll find out why.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you're absolutely right. Because when
Yeah,
women
because-
hear that,
because-
they're always like,
Yeah, because we've made it so that, you know, all you have to do is be a mom, and like I said earlier, people
Right.
think that just because you're a mom, that means you're virtuous. You know, people can't talk about, oh, you know, mad mothers who've abused their kids, or mad mothers who's like shitted on their fucking kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's a lot of toxic moms out there. So people just can't believe that, because we could talk about deadbeat dads all day or how horrible dads are, but we can never really have the conversation of the toxicity that some women have when they're moms. You know, there used to be a movie called Mommy Dearest. I don't know if you ever seen it, but
no wire hangers.
yeah, that bitch was
Very
toxic,
good, very good.
toxic, the most toxic acid fucking volcano lava bitch in the world. You know what I'm saying? She was a mother. She was horrible. She was horrible at it. And just because you're a mom doesn't mean that you're good or loving or, you know, all those other things that people just want to say that mothers do. Sometimes you can be a really fucked up person. And so, like yourself, like, you know, I know with me, I didn't have a great relationship with my mother either, because it was like, yo, you are abusive. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, that is what it is. Like, oh, that's bad. You had a bad relationship with your mom because, yeah, she beat the shit out of me and she was mad abusive. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, we got to go beyond that. The labels don't mean shit to me, you know? It's the story. It's the details.
Yeah. Well said. All right. I'm all good here. If y'all got any last thoughts, the floor is open. But I think this one was a great one, you know, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
No last thoughts. Days, Ness, Dex.
All good.
All good. All right, folks. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that. Thank you for being here. We'll see y'all next month. Peace out.